even if you are small, if you focus on your mind, if you are really interested and passionate about something, you can become pretty good at that. And then I just started carrying like this, that whatever I would start doing, I would really approach it from a very curious mind. That would help me create passion for the subject at stake. And this way, like I changed and transformed a lot of times across my life. I started from economics, politics, and ended up with artificial intelligence at the moment. But this what allowed me all the time to transform and fall in love with a lot of new topics.
Thank you for sharing that. You're saying that there have been transformations. How much do you in your life, and again, from you said politics and economics to today, a focus on artificial intelligence, and you said for the moment, so I assume it may evolve and transform into something again, or you may transform. How consciously do you take these decisions in the mind, that you transform? Are you very aware? Does it sometimes just happen and you eventually notice, oh, I've been changing again? How do you get into these topics?
So I noticed that transformation or moving to a new field happens quite naturally when there is opportunity arising in your life and you start going towards that opportunity. But then at some point, it shifts in your mind. You understand that, oh, damn, if I want to really become good in this, I need to change my identity to start seeing myself in a different way. So let's say at Mind Valley, I used to be a manager. And while being a manager, I started building various automations, applications for myself. And I fell in love with that. And I understood that it creates more joy for me to build something, to be the builder, as opposed to just manage people directly and do people management and so on. And this transition was going little by little until at some point I understood that, no, I don't want any more meetings. I want to become a full-on developer. And this my identity shift happened. I pushed Vishen to create a new role for me. At first, he was like, maybe 40% capacity, 60% capacity. But in a week, he was like, okay, go full in. Oh, good, go. Then afterwards, I started teaching artificial intelligence. So once again, I noticed at some point that, okay, now if I really want to become the best teacher in this field, I need to change the way I see myself. I need to see myself as an educator as opposed to a developer. So there were a lot of shifts like this throughout the years.
Do you sometimes get confused with the shifts that are happening?
Yeah, absolutely. Sometimes you want stability and maybe you get a bit afraid of dropping everything, the way you saw yourself so far and how you were seeing your career developing and shifting to the other direction. But I learned that if you say yes to something, then and you get excited, as I mentioned, then it's usually not a problem. So you just need to take action.
Yeah, action also creates momentum, right? I think it's sometimes what paralyzes is if we stay in a state of paralysis, obviously not taking action, but as soon as we're in the flow, it kind of helps. But still, as you say, and I think it's clear to all of us that it would not always just be easy, especially as you say, if we give up our identity or part of it. And I think we hear a lot about people also that would, or they would they would hold themselves back because of the fear, right? How would others see that if I now come in new into a field? I don't know how it is for you with AI, for example. That's quite new for many of us. I think probably a majority of people on the planet, this is quite new. So there you may not be the only one that's new in a field. But what has helped you maybe to find this confidence or courage to say yes, no matter what others may think or say out there? I'm now going out there and I'm a developer, right? I mean, must have maybe felt a bit awkward even in the beginning. Or what's your experience with that?
I noticed for me personally, the biggest breakthroughs in my career, the way I feel, happened when I disattached from my ego. I didn't want to be appreciated, recognized, noticed, to prove anyone anything. I just fell in love at the moment with what I'm doing, and just decide, okay, I just enjoy, and this enjoyment, you mentioned the word flow, right? Will get you into the right energy and level of passion and excitement to become really good at whatever you're doing. So whenever I feel that, okay, I'm really passionate about this subject in my life and it's leading naturally that direction, then you make the shift. And you mentioned that I may change again. And yes, I'm teaching AI, and I know that I will be replaced. Because I think the better you understand artificial intelligence, the exponential growth, what exponential growth means, and you understand what's happening now in the back end of how models are being developed, I know I'll be replaced.
Oh, that's so interesting. Yeah, because AI will take over as a teacher, I guess, right? So yeah, already now we can basically learn from these models. And how do you face that fact? You trust that there will be another transformation for you?
Yes, I just understand that it's now, it has always been important to be very adaptive and flexible, but it has never been as important as it is now. That's the most important quality. And either you can be like Luddites, in what was it, during Industrial Revolution, people who are breaking all machinery and so on, they were protesting, right? And they lost, because it's just power of nature, of progress, of technology, it happens, right? So either we can go with this mindset, or we can embrace the change and not fight it, but go with the flow, embrace it. Of course, stay critical, but understand that, if you are being replaced, it's okay. You will find something else that you will enjoy and become good at.
Yeah, you mentioned flexibility. I love that, because I also like to say flexibility is a superpower. Do you know or have some tips for everyone or people out there that would like to build or expand their flexibility? Is there something specifically that we could do?
So specifically when it comes to AI, I would say that we need to understand that there is nearly nothing inherently that we do as humans that could not be in theory replaced. Nearly nothing. It's very difficult to come up with something. And for many years, people were thinking that creatives will not be replaced. Now we see that it's partially happening in a different direction as opposed to what we expected. So I think the most important thing is to not connect your happiness and your meaning in life to just one very narrow function that you can do at the moment. Because imagine if that function then AI comes, technology comes, or anyone else becomes better at you, your all self-realization, your identity, your happiness, everything just disappears, right? So it's very important, I believe, to work on yourself overall, to make sure that you are a happy person, and to try to make sure that the driving force in your life is not your ego in a way of me and what I achieve and so on, but some kind of higher meaning, just enjoying life and trying to contribute. And of course, I'm telling as if I would have sorted it out. No, I'm struggling with that quite a lot, and going in different periods when I let my ego take over, and then again. But I believe that's now the most important thing, to try to deal with ourselves and with our egos.